year,
Exactly.
The Denver Broncos got their quarterback in this year's draft, but he is not the reason why they're winning. It's their defense.
Yeah.
Their defense grounds the Jets here. Gregorianism tweets at us once again. Goes, are we beginning to see the same old cracks in the Jets' O-line after Rodgers took 5 sacks against the Broncos? Or was the Broncos scheme just that good that it confused the Jets' passing game? So you wanted to take a look specifically at what happened here. What's going on with the Jets?
Yep.
You just teased it a little bit talking about Garrett Wilson.
Yeah.
What's going on with their offense? What did the Broncos' defense do to stymie them in this game? The weather certainly had an impact.
Definitely.
But there's more.
There is more. There's definitely more. And, what I would say, too, is Rodgers is the least affected weather quarterback in the history of football. I mean, he wasn't that affected by those balls. He threw spirals all day long. He can control it. Plus, in the NFL, unless it's like just an absolute torrential rain, like downpour, the refs hold the ball in a towel. The balls are so perfectly broken in that you like, for the most part, should be able to grip the ball, right? I've been in games where it was drizzling and whatever else, and I was worried about it before the game, and then I got in the game, and I was like, damn, the ball really was never wet the whole day, other than a few times maybe in a timeout, and the ball sat there a little longer than it should have been, and then it got wet. But, me coming from Tampa with swamp ass and all that, I was like, okay, this is better than that. I'll
playing
take
with
it.
A wet ball all the time.
Yeah, exactly
in
right.
In more ways than one.
Exactly right. I think the big thing is, and to our question here, Gregorianism, the O-line wasn't horrible. This is not an O-line problem. This is not that at all. Now, the pass rushers on the edge for Denver, I do want to give them credit because I think they're better than the public realizes. Like number 0, Nick Benito, and number 0, Jonathan Cooper, number 15, Nick Benito, are high-level pass rushers. So they are good. There's no doubt about that. But the end of the day, it was the scheme itself that was the big problem for the Jets and what their offense looked like. And I think we got to start off with the number one thing is, they just said, hey, we know what you're going to do on offense a little bit. You're not, as you've heard me say a million times, overly complicated. It's about Rodgers just getting you in the right play against the right defense, and then they execute, right? But it's not like, oh, man, that was so amazingly creative. That's cool, right? I mean, people will tell you when we're in this viewing room on Sundays, I can call out some of Rodgers' checks. I know the plays over years, what he's going to go to in certain situations. They blitzed in, we're not going to let Rodgers have all day to sit here and pick us apart in some zone coverage. And we know that he likes to throw it quick and short no matter what anyways. And then when we blitz him, we even know more of where he likes to throw it quick and short. And I think that's what they did. And then you add on top of that what you saw in my notes is, I think one of the most underrated things in football right now is the Denver Broncos secondary. The Denver Broncos secondary is real deal. Surtain, as we know, is, for my money, the best corner in football. That's who I'm going to take, okay? After that, the kid Riley Moss. I'm not a fan of white corners, okay? I'm just going to say it right out there. I'm having fun, of course, right?
Yeah.
But because you don't see them a lot in the NFL.
Sure.
Riley Moss is a baller. He's a baller. I have nothing negative to say about him. I like to have fun with that at times, okay? So don't, come on.
Yeah, don't
go any farther down the
don't
rabbit hole.
Comment on the YouTube channel on that. Yeah. We're not highlighting that comment.
Okay. But either way, he's a baller. Number 6, PJ Locke is really good. The other safety is good. The nickelback, McMillan, is one of the top tier nickelbacks in all of football. And I think that goes overlooked a little bit. So they blitz Rodgers because, hey, he's old and we don't want him to read stuff, right? And, hey, we kind of know where he's going to go with it. And we feel like because you guys are basic and we have good corners, we are comfortable with what you do as far as routes and all of that we can be in these situations. And even if you do complete it, we'll rally and tackle and it won't be that hard on us anyways.
So a couple things there. As far as the blitzing with the Denver Broncos, they definitely did that against the Jets. They have done that all season long.
Yeah,
They're
they
one
have.
of the teams that are most aggressive with the blitz. You have the Buccaneers, who are number 1. You have the Vikings, who are number 3. But then you do have the Denver Broncos, who blitz 53.4% of the time. So it is part of their philosophy.
Yeah.
So they've had a lot of practice at it and been able to disrupt Aaron Rodgers with the use of that on Sunday. And then to the point of your secondary.
Leave this up here, too.
Oh, you
don't
want to
take
talk
this
about
off.
that?
Well, I just
go for it.
because their blitz, and don't forget your point with the secondary, all right?
Deal.
Their blitz to me, it's even more than the Bucs, because the Bucs are like, oh, we send 5 all the time.
Yeah.
Right? The Broncos are like, we send 5 a lot, but we send 6 and 7. We're not afraid to do that. And that's where, to me, it's even a little more aggressive than the rest of the teams on this list.
And they have talent when they do it.
Yes.
Sometimes you see teams pressing the issue because it was like, we can't get pressure the normal way. It's like, no, they got some dudes who can do that.
They definitely can.
Still aggressive, but then because they have the confidence in their secondary, too.
Agreed.
And so this is from Zach Stevens, DNVR, talking about Pat Surtain, either one.
Yeah.
Either one works.
Baller Surtain.
Depends on where you grew up. Has allowed 8 catches for 85 yards as the closest defender through the first 4 games of the season. That's per Next Gen Stats. He has done that covering some of the NFL's best wide receivers in DK Metcalf, George Pickens, Mike Evans, Garrett Wilson. According to Zach, he goes, he is the best corner in the NFL. Would you agree with that?
I don't disagree. To me, I like Sauce Gardner. There's some other good corners out there right now. There's nobody matching the best receiver on the other team quite to the extent he is, let alone really putting him in some tough positions against these guys. Like, hey, there's no safety help, and if he catches this slant and you don't make the tackle, he is gone. Right? So that, me, that's right up my wheelhouse. Oh, you mean the guy we're going to pay and we can just go, hey, you got him no matter what? That's when you get your money back. And he's special that way. He really is. He's got it all. Ball skills, size, strength, unbelievable hips, has a feel for the game that you can't teach, right? So all of that is special. And, hey, to all of this, right, the first play of the game, they brought an all-out blitz. That's unheard of. Against a quarterback like Aaron Rodgers, to bring all-out blitz, that's gutsy, okay? And they had double moves called because they're like, wait, these corners are aggressive, so let's go at him right away. And they called out and ups, right? And he's got somebody up the left sideline, but it didn't matter. They brought more people, and he got sacked. He did not recognize the all-out blitz. And he's probably like, I've been playing for 20 years. Nobody's all-out blitzed me ever on the first play of a game. I bet you that was a shock to him. The other thing is, the Broncos dared the Jets to throw the ball and dared them to throw the ball down the middle of the field. It was up in your face, tight man coverage, and let's cover the middle of the field so we don't let up the 4 and 5 yard dink routes over the middle all the time. And they completely dared them to, so will you throw the ball down the field, right? And let's see what you do about it. And of course, they didn't do that, and they allowed them to continue to play around the line of scrimmage and make life hard on Rodgers, and that was a big reason why. The Jets don't do anything to back you off unless throw a back shoulder on the sideline or a fade down the sideline. Anything else aggressive, he has a hard time pulling the trigger, nor does he even want to call those plays that are aggressive down the field where he might have to throw into a tight window 20, 25 yards down the field. That's a problem with their team right now.
Doesn't want more interceptions on the Hall of Fame resume there. So let's dive into something that you teased a little bit a while ago when we were talking about wide receivers.
Right.
You go, I don't know if they need Devontae Adams because they don't use Garrett Wilson as much as maybe you thought. So before we hear from Garrett Wilson, because he was asked about this, we have the numbers from last year to this year, of course, without Rodgers and then with Rodgers. So with Rodgers this year, and when they first got there, it seemed like it was like a love, what is it, love fest together. Like they're raving about each other.
Definitely.
Well, Rodgers gets there, throws to him less, so he's fewer receptions per game, fewer yards per game.
Bring back Zach Wilson.
Still early.
I'm joking.
But the numbers have gone down now with Aaron Rodgers. And so this is Garrett Wilson on the Barton Hahn show. This is a minute and 20 of kind of him talking about the current situation there. So I think it's interesting. Let's take a listen to this and then comment on your insights after that.
Cool.
Are you guys struggling with your identity and trying to find it? Because it feels like you guys try a lot of different stuff. You guys have a lot of good players, but sometimes when you have a lot of good players, it makes things discombobulated.
I think we do. I don't think we do a lot of different stuff, to be honest. When I watch football on Sundays, I see a lot of teams mix it up and stuff like that. I don't feel like we do that. So I think we know our identity is just about going out and executing it, or figuring out whether or not it's going to work. I truly think that we are not trying. I don't think we're trying a lot of different things. I know personally, I haven't. My route tree hasn't been what it's been on the last 2 years as far as the stuff I've been running and stuff. So Yeah, it's just about figuring out whether or not it's the right identity, and if it's going to win games this year, if it's going to do what we need it to do, give the defense the run support they need to be the best defense in the league.
Dang.
Boom.
All right, so I love
what do you say
players-
there? We do what for the best defense in the league? I kind of missed the end. I couldn't
Was it
understand
like, did he say identity support the best defense in the league?
Oh,
Is
got
that-
you.
It helped them, yeah. So, I love when players are honest, and let it fly, because I get the feeling that Garrett Wilson has no problem saying that to people inside the organization, and so he's just sharing some of those insights with people watching. I mean, he clearly thinks that they're too simple.
There's no doubt. I mean, he's telling you. I watch other teams on film. I don't see us do that stuff. We don't motion. We don't shift. I run slant routes. I run flat route. I run a 10-yard out route every now and then that he never throws to me, and I'll get to that in a minute.
Seemed to indicate that he ran more varied routes last year than he is this year.
Yeah, this is what Rodgers wants. This is to me why the thing in Green Bay ended, because like they were like, wait, we want to throw the ball down the field and run the ball and be aggressive. Like the hell with we're gonna check 74 times to throw the ball 2 yards in the flat. I mean, they're like, that doesn't win in the NFL right now. You've heard me say that. I keep saying that, right? So it is a problem. They are simple and they don't do much. And even when they're playing one-on-one, it's still like the same route. You saw some of my notes. I write, can we throw a comeback? Like Garrett Wilson, it's one-on-one. Does it always have to be a slant, a 5-yard out, or, like I said, the 1-yard flat route? Like, how about we, make the guy go, oh, gosh, he might be going deep. Oh, he ran a 15-yard comeback, and I have one of the greatest arms in history over there to throw the ball. Like, what? Like, why wouldn't that be? A deep curl, right? An out route more than the times. I mean, they don't do anything that way. So that is an issue. And, on first and second down, I mean, the Broncos were literally like, we're going to play everybody 5 yards from the line of scrimmage. That's where he's going to throw it. And we don't even think he's got the guts to throw the ball down the field with any of these plays. That's the problem. Mm-hmm. And as you saw in my notes, the other thing I would say as I continued through this game is if I were Garrett Wilson, I would wonder if Aaron Rodgers liked me.
So despite the simple offense, despite the limited route tree, despite the good corner play from the Broncos, there were moments that you saw where Garrett Wilson, he's open.
It's
for
more,
a good game.
It's more than moments.
Let's show some of them.
Yeah, let's do it.
Third play of the third quarter. We'll start. We got 3 different screenshots right here. Third play of the third quarter.
Yeah. Okay. So let's go. Let the next one play here. He's got a single coverage here, right? Did we got it? Oh, just one photo? Well, I mean, Pete shows a photo where the guy's still covered on him. Like, it's like...
Pete's like, I'm going to show you wrong. He goes, he was covered.
Yeah.
Wait, what route is that? Is he running here?
That one is the first quarter run. Hold it. It's
out
the out route.
It's
right.
the out route.
The out route. And the guy's flying upfield, and he never gives him a chance. First off, you're supposed to look at the out route and then to the back underneath, right? He never gives Garrett Wilson a chance to finish this route, and you're just going to have to trust me that when he breaks out, he's wide open. And I'd go, every good quarterback in football would just go, boom, first down, great. But he doesn't give it a chance and predetermines, which Rodgers does a lot. He predetermines. He doesn't really want to give, if either one better wide open or he's throwing the check down. If one's not wide open, he won't throw it. And here, he goes down to the back, and you're going to catch him, and he's going to pump fake because they have the back double covered. You see the other defender down there, the safety, I believe that's Brandon Jones, who they haven't bracketed. They're ready for this because they know he's going to go, wait, is that guy wide open? Let's throw to the back underneath real quick. So they were ready for that throughout the day. And yes, this is one for sure. There we go. There's the next one. See? That's freaking open.
Done.
And especially, hey, when you've played as much quarterback as Aaron Rodgers, if the guy's inside of you and he's covering a guy that runs 4-3, when he breaks out, he's going to be open, okay? So that was one. That's not even the most egregious one. Let's continue to go through it because he doesn't even look at him at times, and that's what I don't understand.
So here's one, like you were indicating the check down. He's going here actually to Wilson on this third quarter
right,
throw.
Because now it's become like, wait, he's been open a few times, and he's probably chirped on the sideline like, what the I've been open. So they throw him a bone with a stupid play like this.
Yep.
And this, to me, again, shows that Rodgers predetermines. They don't cover Jack Conklin down the field. Tyler Conklin, excuse me. They run a bootleg. The rules for the bootleg in the West Coast offense, when you come out clean, you look deep first. But he doesn't do that. He goes right to the short route, right to it. This is a 40-yard gain. I mean, they blew the coverage. There's nobody covering the tight end on a 25-yard corner route. Okay, so there's one. There's another one. We can continue to go. You keep setting it up here.
Here's the screen. So now they're trying to get the ball to Wilson, it seems, and the Broncos are all over this.
Yeah, well, this is the stuff they were all over all day. They weren't going to let any of this crap go on. So that was part of like the slant routes, the little screen RPOs, whatever else, because that's what this is here. It's a run play with the RPO. They weren't going to let any of that happen. And, that was continued throughout the day. But, I mean, we can continue to go
outside of those pictures, there were more where Wilson was open.
Way more.
Pete didn't want to put him in there because Aaron Rodgers must have gotten to him. He goes, don't show him. Don't show him.
But the Broncos, like I said, even when they played zones, they played aggressive zones. They were like, wait, we're going to really crowd the line of scrimmage. It's zone, but if you want to throw a post over the top, it's there, right? I mean, there's all kinds of plays like that to be had there. And then, as you've heard me say, every play let's finagle a way to throw it 3 and 5 yards.
So what's the way out for the Jets? Because there's a saying about old dogs and new tricks, right? And you have Nathaniel Hackett, who's worked with Aaron Rodgers for a while now, and Rodgers likes this, obviously, and you're 40, and you're limited in mobility now.
Yes. Well, it's
how do they fix it?
I think they got to start calling him out. And they got to start calling him out and going, wait, we got to be more aggressive. He throws the deep crossing route. Have you seen that highlight where he kind of spikes it in the ground? He couldn't throw it because it was going to be a little close. I mean, if you were the receiver and I was the defender, that's how much he was open by, which would be wide open by Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow standards. But Aaron Rodgers is like, he is so worried, I believe, about his touchdown to interception ratio and all of that he can't play the game the way it's supposed to be played. And, I mean, it's plays the slant in the first quarter, all right? There's a curl route in the second quarter, a spot route in the second quarter, right? There's let me just run through them real quick. Third play of the third quarter he's wide open. Quarter 3, there's 10 minutes, 11 seconds, it's first down. They're going to run that's the one with Conklin. Okay, first play of the fourth quarter, he's got number 5 open, right? There's like 8 to 10 plays in the game where I'd go, he was there. And a lot of the times he's the first read. And you go, what? Like, why not go to him? Or other scenarios where, like, everything's equal, and you go, damn, it's slant routes across the board, and you don't want to go to Garrett Wilson? We're going to go to Lazard? Like, Garrett Wilson's the guy that can make something happen. He's the only guy on the offense that can do that, other than Breece Hall, right? I mean, he can make more than what's intended to be happen.
Yeah.
And they're not giving him the chance, and I can understand his frustration.
There is one thing that Garrett Wilson does need to do, in my opinion, is get shorter sleeves. I don't like that. His sleeves are long. He's got like the old school, like 1980s high school.
He's always kind of done it.
Not filling out the uniform.
He's kind of old school that way. I think that's what he is.
It doesn't make him look.
No,
like
it doesn't make him look as baller as I would like.
Exactly.
I would agree with that.
Pete, do we have a picture of his sleeves?
He's a skinny receiver, and then when you wear baggy sleeves on top of it, it almost makes you look skinnier because it makes you look like you're swimming in your jersey a little bit.
Maybe Rodgers just looking at him and be like, that's not going to work. In the NFL? Seriously?
But yeah, that's got to change in a big way. And if they want to succeed, again, they might feast on the poor. Some of the teams that play simple defenses and aren't that simple, and Rodgers will thrive in those games. But when they have to play teams that are really aggressive and call his bluff a little bit on these short passing routes, I definitely have big questions of whether he'll be aggressive, attack down the field, and make the plays that are appropriate there.
Jets going across the pond, taking on the Minnesota Vikings. Oh, that'll be difficult.
Well, he's going to get to a lot of the same stuff. They're not as talented at corner, so they don't play as much man-to-man as the Broncos do. Yeah. But you're still going to get blitz, and then fake blitz, we're going to drop underneath all your little short passes, and they're not going to be there. And that's going to be something to watch for this weekend at 9:30 a.m. Eastern for the London game.
The Broncos will go against the Devontae Adams-less Las Vegas Raiders, perhaps. That great secondary. Maybe life a little bit easier for them in that game. So that's what's coming up this week.
Yo, homies, thanks for watching. Yeah, it's time. The NFL season is here on Chris Simms Unbuttoned.
You can hit subscribe to get all the weekly picks, plus our Sunday recaps as the games are happening.
Oh, you know it. Nobody does that better than us. Thanks again for watching. Remember to subscribe. Peace out. We'll see you next time on Unbuttoned.